Alrighty, we're back. Welcome back to A Slightly Twisted Female. I'm your host, Brittany Rue. We're going to get into some really troubling headlines that have been going on. We'll take a look at a few separate cases of trans identifying males who are assaulting babies and infants. This is part of a series that documents the crimes of trans identifying males who are being listed as women's crimes. These are men who are being either housed in women's prisons, who are being reported by the media as she, her, or as a woman in some capacity, or even a trans woman, and in some horrific cases, these men are being recorded by crime statistics as women. As you can imagine, the serious implications of documenting male crimes as female crimes, it makes it impossible for us to really be able to identify patterns of male violence and abuse. The fact of the matter is that men can account for 98% and above of violent crimes. Women need to understand that, and I think that there's actually a lot of women who, like people in general, who don't actually understand that violent crime is a very, very male phenomenon. And I think it's because, when we have a lot of these like true crime reporting and things like that, they really love to focus on instances of women committing these sorts of crimes, right? It's because it's so rare. You know how many men every single day across the United States are committing violent offenses against other men, other women, other people in general, and we don't ever hear about it because it's so run of the mill. But when it's a woman who does something, right? Like the Courtney Colston, everybody's going insane. By the way, unpopular opinion, and I kind of don't care what people think. I actually believe that Courtney Colston, who I guess murdered her boyfriend, um, or allegedly has been accused of murdering her boyfriend, I actually believe that she was being abused. I think that if you look at the evidence of them together, there was a report of her neighbor who's saying that he threw punches at her. I've been with abusive men. I know what they're like. And I also understand that abusive men know when they can and cannot get away with stuff. And they love making you look unhinged in front of other people because you're already like upset. Not saying that she wasn't also abusive. I think they were both abusive towards each other. But there's very clear examples of him also lunging at her, refusing to walk away, calling her a bitch, getting in her face as well, kind of like grabbing her and stuff when it wasn't necessary, when it could have just walked away, right? And he keeps kind of like, no, it was Courtney. I thought it was Courtney Colston was her name. Hold on. Or Coles. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Whoops. Is that not her name? Hold on. Courtney, murder of boyfriend. Oh, Courtney Clenny. My bad. Courtney Clenny. Courtney Clenny. And I know I kind of want to do a whole live stream on that to break down. I feel like it's become very politicized. It's been taken on, I think a lot of it, once again, they love to politicize these like racial dynamics, it being a white woman and it was a black man who had said a lot of like disparaging negative things against black women, which is gross. I hate black men who date white women, who trash black women. I think it's so gross. I think any white woman who like is somehow flattered by that, it needs like is deranged, like needs to really like take a look at herself in that situation. But anyway, I say all this to say we shine such a huge spotlight on anytime a woman commits these crimes because it really is, it's a unique phenomenon. It's not rare or unique or special when men commit violent crimes, okay? So when we are starting to report male crimes as being female crimes, it'll skew statistics. It creates again, and it makes it difficult for us to identify patterns. People need to understand men are dangerous. I mean, like really, really dangerous. Oh, Courtney Taylor might have been her OF name. Oh yeah. I want to go on again, and this is not to say exonerate her from also being abusive. She clearly was unhinged and not likable herself, you know, because of her narcissism, but I don't think that he was this perfectly innocent sweetheart the way that they're all trying to paint him out to be. And I do think that there is a very good possibility that she acted in self-defense, not saying that she like provoked, you know, an altercation, but we'll talk about that another time. Love Lover says, as a preschool teacher, just reading that headline makes me livid. I know. This is why I love teachers, because it's like, you guys so get it. All right, so let's take a look at some of these men and what they're doing. These are not female patterns of violence. They're not. Okay, these are male patterns of violence. These are not women in any capacity whatsoever. In fact, men who larp as women are actually some of the most dangerous men in society. Right? These are men who claim that they are so vulnerable, that they're at such high risk, that they must be placed in the women's prisons. And we all know, anybody who has any kind of experience in this topic knows that these men are not doing it because of a true security risk. For those who haven't already, go watch here. Well, I'll pull up a real quick, my interview with Hakeem, where he talks about these trans-identifying males, and the fact is that they're genuinely really not in any of a risk that they claim to be. Shoot, you know, oh, I don't think I have any of my videos up right now. Damn it. Okay, I'll have to bring, I gotta, whatever. Yeah, I'll have to bring that. So let's take a look at some of these news. So we have, this is from Redux. Again, this is Genevieve Gluck, Anna Slatz. This one was written by Anna Slatz on February 7th. Exclusive, transgender daycare worker avoids prison after sexually abusing a baby during a diaper change. This is like vicious and disgusting. And as you can see, it's another reason why it is so dangerous and insane that we are allowing these men or women change their sex markers on their official documentation. It should never ever be permissible to lie on official identity documents. Do people have any idea the implications for how dangerous that is? What the implications are for you know, human trafficking, for trying to avoid accountability after committing crimes. So again, this is so this person who legally, I guess, changed their name. This happened in Kentucky. Legally changed their name to Maria Childress, alias whatever city, Paducah. I wonder why this was redacted. Kentucky zip code 42001. Oh wow, that's crazy. They redacted his aliases, to protect his identity. Why? Why do these men get special treatment? Special protection. Why? They don't deserve it. A woman who gets, you know, caught for shoplifting that the police, you know, ended up killing or whatever. Her name is all over the place. Her picture's all over the place. Her family's, you know, names are all over the place. But this guy is being protected, right? So, sex female. This is a vulnerable woman. Height 5'9", weight 180 pounds. These are the type of men who get housed in women's prisons and go on to terrorize these women. It's all a game to them. It's all a game. And the fact that we're playing along, it still blows my mind. It still blows my mind that this is still happening. A trans-identified male in Kentucky has reached a plea deal after being charged with sexually abusing a baby and will avoid prison so long as he meets certain conditions. He will not go to prison. We don't take sexual assault seriously in this country at all. At all. People get slapped on the wrists. And the men who will do this sort of things are really some of the most sadistic men in society. He should never be able to see the streets again, let alone if I were God. And it's like this, and then you wonder why some people end up taking, you know, measures into their own hands, and we don't, you know, trust the justice system or the legal system, because look how much they fail us. This man will strike again. Make no mistake. This will happen again. It's not a matter of if, it's when. It's when. Maria Childers, a former daycare worker, hired a prominent trans activist lawyer, of course, a trans activist lawyer, to represent him in the sickening case. As previously reported by Redux, Childers was arrested on February 23rd after the Department of Community-Based Services received an anonymous tip detailing an alleged incident of abuse that occurred on November of 2022, around the time that Ex-Lanza came over, at Explore Learning Academy. The tip, reportedly written by one of Childer's co-workers, accused him of making inappropriate comments towards an infant while changing the child's diaper and touching the baby inappropriately. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's like, you put so much trust in other people when you send your child. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so sick. Redux has now obtained court records detailing the full complaint against Childers, which showed that he was accused of both physical and sexual abuse while employed at the daycare. Following the receipt of the initial anonymous complaint, the DCBS caseworker and a police officer from the Paducah Police Department went to the daycare on February 8th, 2023. Ooh, so let's go through his, Jesus. Let's take a look and see if we can see anything from his Maria Childers. I'll have to see if I can find anything from him. Jesus God. Maria Childers trans. Let's see. This is really, 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 really scary. Really sick. He was charged with first-degree sexual abuse. Jesus. Let's see if we can get a video on it. Of course, it's like, none of the, you notice that there's not a single legacy. Oh, you can't see. There's not a single legacy outlet covering this. It's all just like, this is why people are like, oh, you guys don't do anything important as YouTubers and stuff. And we just, are doing it just for attention and likes and stuff like this. Don't you understand? We are being failed severely by legacy media. We are the narrative is so out of control. They're not recovering these things. They're not reporting on them. It is on us to create a record of our descent, a record of what's happening, a record of what's being done, so that history doesn't get lost. The truth doesn't get lost to history.
Before we delve into today's news, do us a favor and press the subscribe button right now. We appreciate your support. Welcome to our channel where we bring you the most recent and significant...
And look at this. This is how this people, let's see how this people want it. Transgender woman accused of sexually abusing an infant. This is not a woman who did this. This is not a woman. This is a man.
News stories from around the globe. Subscribing ensures you never miss an update. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the heart of the matter. A recent news story that has caught our attention involves a transgender woman named Maria Childress. Maria was not just any woman, but a daycare worker trusted with the care of...
All right, this is a really stupid... I use like the fake... Oh, it's Childress or Childers? Let's see. Oh, Childress. Let's see. Childress. Hold on. Trace. Anyway, okay, so prosecutor, let's take a look. The exclusive prosecutor defends plea deal for trans daycare molester. He says the sentence was appropriate, said Commonwealth's attorney Dan Bowes. I know people do more time for marijuana crimes or petty shoplifting, but it goes to show how much we don't value women and children. It just goes to show. Maria Childress mugshot and then a Facebook screenshot. Jesus Christ. It's written by Amber Duke. Oops. The prosecutor who signed off on the plea deal in the case of transgender daycare worker who sexually abused an infant says he believes that the quote sentence was the sentence that the defendant served was appropriate for what could be proven in court. The defendant pled guilty to sexual misconduct and received a sentence of 12 months. The defendant served over 300 days in jail, primarily in solitary confinement, before entering the guilty plea. As the case developed, there were contradictions that sometimes happen. So, of course, then we can't see the rest. After speaking to numerous staff, they're able to corroborate the anonymous report. So this is back from Redux. According to witness testimony, a co-worker had asked Childress for assistance. So they need to, so it's Childress, not Childers. Well, actually, let's take a look. What is it? Yeah, it's Childress. They gotta fix that. It's Childress, not Childers. While Childress was cleaning the baby's genital, a co-worker noticed that the infant appeared to be in distress and asked Childress if he was hurting the baby. She then witnessed Childress rub the infant's genitals in a circular motion while saying that was her clit area and she likes it. It just made her day. Wow. Jesus Christ. And of course, so I'm sorry, this whole idea that, we can't judge. Do you guys not remember when I was talking about the transvestic fetishism? And I said that you can tell a lot about what turns these men on when they dress up fetishistically by looking at their outfits. The fact that he's dressing up as a little girl tells us what he's attracted to. Right? Remember the idea, like the people dressed up as babies and stuff? This idea that it's harmless, that it's fashion, that it's, self-expression, that it's gender nonconformity and that's stunning and brave. No. They are advertising like a billboard about what they're sexually attracted to. And we have gotten so deranged as a society that we're like applauding it as like, oh wow, it's so brave and stunning that you'll dress in these, gender bending styles. You're so brave. You'll go out and you'll challenge these, gender norms. He is letting you know where his sexual attraction lies. And it's like the same reason why these men will sit there and do everything they can to get in women's prisons. This guy did everything he could, I'm sure, to get a job working at a daycare. It's not because he cares about the care and keeping of children. My God. So again, we can tell a lot about somebody about the sort of fetish gear that they wear. We can tell a lot about somebody about the fetish gear that they wear and whether or not that they're dangerous. We absolutely can and should judge people off of the clothing that they choose to wear. That's possible. Karen David says, "I wonder how many of the handmaidens are abuse victims who never dealt with their trauma." So I'm been trying so hard to coordinate with God, what's his name? John. What's his last name? The guy who he does therapy for sex offenders and stuff like that. And in his opinion, he says that he thinks a lot of women are just so very naive about the true sexual nature of men and the lengths that men will go to satisfy their sexual drives. And he thinks that women who enable these men truly don't understand. They don't understand how dangerous these men actually are. They don't understand how men's sexuality works. They're profoundly naive. And they end up being the ones who open the door for these men, and these men can know that these women are profoundly naive, and so that's why they shack up with them. It's the same thing like Eva Korolova, how naive she is by dealing with somebody like Lois, and same thing with Laura, what's her name, who is struck up a friendship with Phil Illey. They fail, where normal women who know enough about men and their sexuality immediately can recognize that as the red flag that it is. It's like something just doesn't process. John Euler. Yeah, thank you. After being taken, let's see, Jesus Christ. While Childress was reported to management at the academy, he was only given a write-up. This is that these men are so protected. They're so enabled. They're so permitted to just act how they want. uh it's so sick. Police later learned that, and anybody, the fact that I really think that, like, if it turns out the daycare failed to report this immediately and only did a write-up, they should also be held accountable, because you can't just sit there and what and like let him come back to work. Just a write-up for, oh, you were molesting one of the infants. Yeah, just don't do it again. Make sure you're on time to work tomorrow. Oh, what? The coworker witnessed it. I know. Thank God. Thank God the coworker at least stepped up. Because how many more times I'm sure that this obviously was not the first time, right? And that's the thing you have to remember. By the time these men are caught, they've already done it so many times. While Childress was reported to management at the academy, he was only given a write-up. Police later learned that Childress had also been accused by other coworkers of leaving the children in the high chair for hours without care. But what's going on with this daycare? Are they not like, are there not cameras? Or are they not, is there not a supervisor? How is that even allowed to happen? After being taken to the police station for questioning, Childress initially claimed that he had not changed the infant's diaper at all. He later admitted to having done so after an officer presented him with evidence in the form of a text that he had sent to the daycare's director confirming the baby's diaper had been changed. He then tried to deny having ever said anything appropriate, but he admitted he often said things that were, quote, taken out of context. Yeah, of course. Childress was placed under arrest and charged with 1 count of first-degree sexual abuse of a victim under 12 and 3 counts of first-degree criminal abuse of a child under 12. There should be ones of, like, if it's under, like, 7 or something. Or for special, like, infants. Jesus God. Yeah, infants should be with their mothers. I know. And it's like, we shame so many mothers who decide to stay at home or leave their careers or whatever. People don't understand what a profound gift it is if it's possible to stay at home with your baby, especially for the first 3 years. Like, if and when that's ever possible, it's always, always ideal. More ideal than sending them off with strangers for hours every day. Jesus Christ. Childress was placed under arrest and charged with 1 count of first-degree sexual abuse of a victim under 12 and 3 counts of first-degree criminal abuse of a child under 12. He was then booked at the McCracken County Jail. There has been some confusion over the spelling of his last names. Oh, I guess this is what it is. With the courts, police, and social feeds having different spellings alternating between Childers and Childress. I wonder if he made up his own. Is this a real last name? Because Childers, and that's what he's into. Is there some kind of, while Childers was initially marked as male by both police and the jail, internal documents obtained by Redux have revealed that his recorded sex was later switched to female by the McCracken County Jail. This is so dangerous. So let me guess, right? Because he's being recorded as female, I guess he would be placed with women. Court records show that just 1 month after being booked on felony charges, Childers privately retained trans activist lawyer Madison Leach to represent him. Leach, a male who began identifying as a woman 7 years ago, was the first openly transgender candidate to seek public office in Western Kentucky when he ran as Democrat for the Callaway County Attorney seat. Leach recently threatened to leave Kentucky over Senate Bill 150, which would make it optional for public school teachers to use a teacher's preferred pronouns. Of course, after taking on the case, Aaliyah submitted a motion to reduce Childers' bond, of course, complaining that he did not have access to estrogen while in solitary confinement of McCracken Jail. Oh no, poor, he doesn't have his feminizing stuff. That's like saying, like a woman needs to be let out of jail early because she needs to get her nails done. She needs to get her hair done. Her hair, it's such a mess. She needs to get it highlighted. She needs to get her lip fillers retouched up. Yeah, it's so true, Susie. If you are able to take your kids out of public school, do. Yeah. The defendant will participate in any programs and services, pretrial services. The defendant will obtain an ankle monitor. Defendant will stay in contact with her attorney. Jesus Christ. The jail has the defendant in solitary confinement because she is a trans woman and has undergone hormonal changes. No, he's a man. He's a man who is, poisoning himself with exogenous hormones and drugs because he's mentally ill and he's sexually deviant. Solitary confinement can have many detrimental effects on the mind of the individual. Further, she is not receiving all of her medicines. This isn't medicine. These are just drugs. They're recreational cosmetic drugs. Because some of the medicine she receives in patch form, not having her estrogen can have harmful effects on her mind and body. My God. My God. After some negotiation with the court, the motion was ultimately approved, and Childer's bond was reduced from $100,000 to $5,000. But, women who were shoplifting can't get that kind of leniency. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Is absurd. Absurd. Let's see if there's any, Jesus Christ. Yeah, New York Post is, quoting Redux. Again, and this is why Redux is so important. This is why the work that we're all doing as part of this new media, it's important because this is not being reported anywhere else, right? And look at Redux is breaking a lot of these stories. And Redux is learning about a lot of these stories because of women on Twitter who are circulating them and submitting them and publishing them and getting them out there. We all have a responsibility to get these stories out there. Jesus Christ. So this is this guy. He's 25 years old. This is the judge. Judge Joseph Rourke sentenced Maria. The guy's name is Maria. Ridiculous. But withheld jail time and given a conditional discharge for 6 months. If he abides by why is New York Times still using preferred pronouns though? Don't the people realize how confusing that is? And eventually it starts to legitimize this guy as actually some sort of a woman, So again, it's as much as I appreciate New York Post, taking our side and reporting on these things, reporting using wrong sex pronouns for these monsters is still upholding gender ideology. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. All right, so let's go to the next one. Oh, wait, let's just see what Reddit has to say about this guy. Who is Maria Childers? Pedophile transgender daycare worker avoids jail after sexually assaulting baby while changing her diaper, then telling colleagues she likes it. It just made her day. Jesus God. So what is this from? Oh, I am the main character. WTF are these AI-generated Google summaries of criminals and why? See, people are, look, Reddit is such a trans cell hangout. And they get so upset whenever you actually expose them. If she's a pedo, then she's a pedo. No. These are not female crimes. These are not female patterns of behavior. It is essential to the safeguarding of women and children. I'll say it over and over. I'm not going to be shamed by imbeciles like Sierra Weir, out of talking about safeguarding of women and children. I don't care if it sounds cliche. It is a safeguarding fail to call these men she, her. Because we need to be able to recognize patterns. Pattern recognition is everything when it comes to keeping ourselves safe and being able to keep our children safe. And when we are trained out of that pattern recognition, when the designation of what things are, the communication about what things are is muddled and distorted, and lies are inserted, and half-truths are kind of sprinkled in there, it creates a lot of problems. It makes it impossible for us and very difficult for us to be able to identify threats to ourselves and our children. This is why wrong sex pronouns are wrong. It's either all or nothing. This idea that, I'll do it for my friends. I'll do it for the good trans that I like. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Words have meanings. This is some sort of like postmodernist hellhole. Words have meanings. And when you start to degrade that meaning, and I'll say it again, when you start to degrade the meaning of a woman, which includes the sort of, adjacent words such as female pronouns and designation, women, woman, queen, heiress, actress, words that designate a woman, a female, girl. When you start to change and shift what that means, and you add other people, are now encompassed by that. Well, some men can be she, her. Some men can be, a woman, right? As long as they're nice and they play by the rules and we like them and we get along with them. Over time, it'll change the meaning of the word woman in common parlance. And once it starts to change in sort of common, day-to-day informal vernacular, it will eventually change officially, as we've already seen with the dictionary. Look at this. We'll show you guys again. Webster Dictionary. Webster Dictionary didn't change the meaning of the word woman because they were real sneaky about it. Still adult human female, right? But you know what they did change? They changed the meaning of the word female. So now that it includes men. It includes men and boys who are confused or who are malignant and malicious and trying to infiltrate the female identities. Once we change the meaning of the word woman, every time that word appears in law, in legislation, and in policy, it now has a different meaning. It now includes men. So now we cannot actually create a designation where men are kept out, where all men are kept out. We can no longer describe our experiences as women. We can no longer define ourselves. And every law where the word woman appears, where a woman used to mean an adult human female, and now it means an adult human female and some men, and whichever men, want to, those laws now don't mean anything. They don't do anything to protect us. Overnight, as soon as you change the meaning of that critical word, overnight, those laws now mean something else. So now look at this again. So female, again. So I remember looking it up. I was like, okay, good. The word woman hasn't changed yet in the dictionary. That's good. No. They were very sneaky. They changed the definition of the word female. Female. So it's, female adjective, synonyms of female. Definitions. Definition of female. Of or related to being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear young or produce eggs. B. Having a gender identity that is the opposite of male. What in the fuck does that mean? C. Made up usually of adult members of the female sex. Characteristics of girls, women, and the female sex exhibiting femaleness. So what does this mean? Having the gender identity that is the opposite of male. Let's see do they even know what a gender identity is? Do they even have like a coherent definition? A person's internal sense of being male, female, some combination of male and female, or neither male nor female. What does that mean? What does that mean? Facebook provides more than 50 options beyond male and female for users to describe their gender identity, from gender questioning to neither and androgynous. Or how about the idea that there isn't one way to be a man? Why can't we bring that back? There isn't one way to be a woman. There isn't one way to be a man. And that all of these, anything outside of, our female bodies, our female characteristics that differentiates us, everything else is cliches and stereotypes. But not entirely though, because there are male patterns of violence. And when you start muddling who is male, who is female, and you mess up of the recording of which, we cannot follow patterns. Women do not commit crimes to the extent, to the severity, to the type, to the frequency that males do, that men do. And that matters. All right, so let's take a look at, let's just see if they said anything else. Yeah, of course. Somebody says, and there are grown adults on here defending this pedo. Can you believe that? These pedos do not have kids, but there's a good chance they're too ugly to reproduce. But I'm sure there are people on there defending this guy. Let's see. Christ. So, wow. Somebody actually came and tried to defend this guy. And then someone says, that rubbed the genitals of an infant and bragged that the kid liked it. That's not to you sexual assault. Weird if someone looks at child porn, they get thrown in prison for 5 years or more. But if you go ahead and actually put your gross hands on a baby's genitals to stimulate them and then claim protected status, suddenly you're a great guy. I don't know if you've read the wrong article. How could pedophilia be acceptable behavior to you? There was no sexual assault, so infants are potential, I guess, sex partners. I'm not even a kid person, and you're out of mind if you read that too and declared nothing untoward happened. That rubbed her genitals and bragged about it. I'm sure in the near future that will offend again. Exactly. He will offend again. Make no mistakes. He's emboldened now. He's emboldened now. He realizes, oh, you don't really get in trouble for this stuff. You can get in trouble. You can get caught for it, and really nothing comes of it. And now there's people defending me, and I'm like some kind of, I got all this attention. Yeah. It's, hey, this is nothing. I don't think that satanic panic could possibly be compared to lusting after children, being so sick that you'd brag. Wow, I guess the other person said it's like, it sounds like the person above who had their comment deleted was comparing like people blowing the whistle on the sexual deviancy of trans-identifying males with the satanic panic. No. One is men who have clear signs of sexual degeneracy and deviancy, who are, continuing within that pattern of behavior, predictably, and they're trying to train us out of what we know is true about these sorts of men. That they're dangerous and that they engage in these sort of patterns of predatory behavior. It doesn't fit in with main character except that this person goes unpunished purely for protected status. This person chose a lawyer who also claims protected status. Get 5 years for viewing child porn, rubbing a kid's genitals while having long hair, and you get a pat on the head. Amen. This is sick. The baby was crying in distress according to the witness, and the pedo admitted the witness told the truth. Ew. He was rubbing the baby's vulva and talking about how she liked having her clit rubbed. Jesus Christ. Oh, look, see, this person's still calling it the newest version of Satanic Panic, and 4 people liked it. You're not allowed to read past the headline. Now uncritically accept our newest version of Satanic Panic. No. How dare you? How dare you? This is sick. Jesus Christ. Someone said, put her in prison with men. See how fast they make her day. So you can see if she likes it. Crazy how society protects pedophiles now. Disgusting pig. But stop calling her. She, her. Every time you use she, her pronouns for one of these men, you are co-signing their manipulation strategy. You're co-signing it. You're saying, I agree to this. I agree to this. We're in hell. We're in hell. Look at this. Look how disgusting this is. LOL the title. Welcome to 2024, baby. Let's go. God, Reddit is such a swampland. All right, so here's another one. Again, it's just a back to back with these men. Back to back. Redux, Australia. Transidentifying male TikToker pleads guilty to child sexual abuse charges. This was written by Genevieve Gluck on February 6th, 2024. Burton, as seen in this TikTok. A popular transgender TikToker in Australia who previously had gained thousands of followers as a proud trans woman has pleaded guilty to aggravated counts of producing and possessing child exploitation material, gross indecency, and indecent assault. The South Australia District Court heard that Rachel Queen Burton repeatedly abused 2 children and then stalked them and their family into homelessness. Jesus Christ. Before he began claiming to be a woman. And the reason why they do that, the reason why they start claiming to be a woman, as you can imagine and as you know, is because then they will get away with whatever they want. They get protected status. They get a protected status. And I gotta make this one video visible. I want you guys to see one video that I think is important to look. Oh, these are lives. Hold on. Sort by. Whoops. Hold on. Burton, let's see. Burton was first arrested in October 2022 by the Elite Joint Anti-Child Exploitation Team and charged with child abuse and exploitation offenses. In December that year, Burton had denied the allegations, but he has now pleaded guilty. Though Burton is from Coolalinga in the Northern Territory, the crimes are committed in the southern state. Let's see. I don't know if I can get. Oh, here we go. Edit. In your own online rants. Okay, let's see. During the recent court proceedings, both the children and their mother strongly condemned Burton in their victim impact statements. Quote, "You are gross, phony, self-indulgent thing. You are a gross, phony, self-indulgent thing who has cheated my children out of so much it took away from them without care," the victim's mother said. In your online rants, you showed no remorse for your bad behavior, all while knowing what you had done. Getting an audience for your false life was far more important. You can wear any mask you like, but the truth is out and everybody knows who you are. Finally. Wow. The victim's mother described how after she discovered Burton's abuse, she fled the area with her children only to be followed by the sexual predator. That's so dangerous. Stalking in conjunction with like abusive behavior like that is like recipe for homicide. It's recipe for homicide. There's different types of stalkers, and some are more dangerous than others. And he's exhibiting like basically that family is basically like in imminent danger. Imminent danger. Let's see. She told the court that at one point she and her children were residing in a police-issued safe house until Burton showed up at the window peering in, causing them to flee again. Jesus Christ. No food, scared children, too scared to go anywhere, never knowing if you could find us. When the children did sleep, nightmares haunted them. Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's so scary. And this is, again, and it's like, this is another thing why this scumbag Sierra, like playing with a young, a mother with young children. I know how stressful and scary it can be. You feel unprotected sometimes. You feel vulnerable. When children did sleep, nightmares haunted them. Being homeless was extremely grueling. The worrying was relentless. But you were online having the time of your life. We were all betrayed, tricked, and lied to. You are the monster. You make me feel sick to my stomach. Good for you, Mom. Good for you. The youngest victim, whose age has not been disclosed, told the court that Burton's abuse had made her feel like a bird trapped in a cage. I was happy before you broke the rules. I didn't know what was going on before you broke the rules. I didn't know what was going on at the time. I feel angry at you for doing wrong things to me, she said. I feel like a bird trapped in a cage. All I wanted was to be free. I still worry that you will find me. Oh, babies. The second victim, a boy, said he was constantly terrified and that he had difficulty sleeping due to chronic nightmares. I'm always worried you are going to turn up somewhere and this makes me feel terrified, he said. Oh, babies. Oh, God. Burton's case was first reported by the Advertiser, which was referred to Burton as a woman and utilized feminine pronouns for him, of course. Burton was best known for his popular TikTok account, which had 36,000 followers and boasted 418,000 likes on his profile. On his profile, he described himself as a proud trans woman who was living my life with no regrets. Let's see. What was this guy's name? Hold on. Bert. Oh, Jesus. Rachel Queen Burton. Let's see if we can find this guy. Yeah, the body does always remember. God, it's so sad. Oh wow, look here. Wait, there's some people talking about it. So yeah, sometimes it is good to go on Reddit because sometimes you find people like this. Somebody apparently knows him. Rachel Queen Burton. Does anyone know what happened after Rachel was arrested? It's been nearly a year, and searching news articles was supposed to be a trial, but that was December last year. Anyone in Adelaide know anything? Oh, so the TikTok is Rachel Queen 80008. Hold on. TikTok Rachel. What is it? Queen 800. Or was it? Let's see. Oh my God, it's still up. This is the guy. I know. And it's like, again, when we're teaching people that no, you shouldn't be scared of these guys, and they're just, they're just women like you and me, and they're vulnerable, and and you they try to make you feel like you're wrong for being kind of grossed out and weirded out by them. Listen to that internal alarm. You're allowed to be disgusted by people. I'm gonna make myself big for this. You're allowed to be disgusted by people. You're allowed to say, I don't want you near me. I don't even know why, but there's something weird about you. What are you wearing? You're allowed to look at somebody who is dressed weird, and you don't have to sit there and have compassion for them or make up reasons as to, look, well, maybe he's having a hard time. Maybe he's a little off. He just needs people to be nice. He's probably a good guy. No. It's okay. It's okay, honey. Judge him. Judge him. Cross the street. You're with your kids. He's being weird. He tries to talk to you. Cross the street. Go into the store. Go stand next to the clerk and say, this guy's making me just feel uncomfortable. Can I sit in here for a little bit? Go talk to the police officer and just say, I'm just feeling a little uncomfortable. Is it okay if I just stand over here? You don't have to sit and talk and smile and be nice. You don't have to. It's really okay. You can really say, no thank you. No. And you can get out of there. You don't have to respond to questions. You don't have to let them, nothing. You don't need a reason. You don't need to feel sorry. If he's dressed like a weirdo, listen to that. Listen to that. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, he's just gender non-conforming, and this is his own personal expression, and this is what makes him feel, good, and, there's nothing wrong with me. No. Say, that's fucking weird that you thought that was a normal thing to go out in. Like Phil Illy. It's okay to look at Phil Illy at a gender critical conference and say, what the fuck are you wearing and why? Get away from me. There's something wrong with you. That's not a normal thing to say, oh, I'm going to wear this to a gender critical conference with a bunch of women and detransitioners and women who are trying to, desperately to fight for our rights. Look at these people and rip out all that fucking programming that shames you and makes you feel bad for having an immediate disgust reaction. Feel that disgust reaction. Internalize it. Use it to guide you and to protect you. Do so without apology. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, get away from me. I don't know why I think that you're weird, but I just do. You don't need a reason. Cross the street. Get the fuck out of there. You don't have to be polite. You don't have to smile and kind of like, okay, well, we're going to go. You can be like, I've literally run away. Dude, guys, I remember right after I left my husband, I went on a date with this guy, and I swear to God, he made me feel so uncomfortable. So we were supposed to go out, and we had these plans, and he was like, yeah. And then when I met up with him, he was like, oh, so did you want to go get a hotel? I was like, what? No, I thought we had we were going to go out to lunch and then get we were going to go to a spa something and get our feet done or something and talk. And he was like, all right, well, I guess we could find something. And I was like, okay. I kind of thought that you said that you already knew something. He kind of like, you can tell that he like kind of like just lied to get me to meet up. He was being real weird. We were on the phone and I was like, all right, well, let's just, there's a place right in the mall over here that should be open. Why don't we go there? We can get just like, massages and we can talk or whatever. And he just seemed like real annoyed. He's like, fine, we can do it. And then I just remember afterwards, he kept asking me to like try to get a hotel and let's get a hotel together. And I was like, no, I just met you. I don't know you. That's not safe. And I just remember being like, and I swear to God, I like had it. We sat in his car for a second because we had met up together. I was like, well, let's come up with a plan. And we sat in the car. And I swear to God, I feel like I've never felt this way before about anybody, but I really had this moment where I felt like he was gonna grab me. I really got scared. It looked like he was like amping himself up because he kept doing this weird thing with his hands. And he kept kind of looking over at me and he was just like being like, and it seemed like he was trying to like psych himself up, like hype himself up to like, I swear to God, like reach and like grab me or do something. And I remember just being like, hold on, let me check something really quick. And I got out of the car and he was like, oh, like, what are you doing? I was like, here, why don't we go like take a walk in the mall real quick? Cause I there's this really cool place I wanted to like check out really fast. I was like, here, come with me. And so because I wanted to get him out of the parking lot because my car was parked like right near his car. So I was like, yeah. And I just remember like, I just had this like sick feeling. I was like, something is really weird right now. Right this second, something is weird. And I was like, I just got out of the car. I was like, nope. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go back this way. We walked into the mall. We walked for about 2 minutes. I turned and I took off. I started running. And he was like, where are you going? Da, 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 da. And I was like, nope. I didn't say anything. I just kept going. I was like, nope, bye. I was like, don't follow me. And I started running towards my car. And he yelled back like, you bitch or something. I didn't give a fuck. I got right into my car and he ended up coming out. I saw him kind of like come out into the parking lot, like run after me a little bit. And he was like, and I fucking floored it. And he ended up texting me. He's like, you bitch, what the fuck was that? That was so weird. You're a piece of shit. I came out and I did not. I was like, I blocked him. I didn't care. I don't know why I felt that way. I don't know why. I've never felt quite like that before. But I'm so glad that I trusted myself. I didn't need to have more proof that there was something weird or off about this guy. The way that he reacted afterwards let me know that my internal alarm was alive and well. The way he was like, cursing after me and kind of ran after me. I swear to God, I felt like he was going to grab me or lock me into the car. And I was like, no, I don't want this. There's something very weird. Something feels very like unsafe right now. And I don't know, you know what I mean? And I'm not sorry. It was like, sometimes just do something. It doesn't matter if you look crazy. I looked crazy running through the mall. I look crazy. People are like, whoa. I was running. And I was yelling, don't talk to me. Don't follow me. And sometimes as women, it's like we're afraid to make a scene. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. We feel like we have a responsibility to accommodate people's comfort. No, you don't. Unprogram that shit. No, you don't. For whatever reason that you don't feel comfortable. For whatever reason that you think he's weird. Maybe he's getting too close to you. Maybe you just don't like his outfit. Maybe you just don't like anything. How his hair is. It doesn't matter. Act on it. Get away. You don't have to be polite. You don't need to be polite to creeps. You don't need to be polite to anybody that you don't feel comfortable around. Follow that instinct. Don't ever let these people train you out of it. Please, God, don't let these people train you out of it. That's what they want. They want to destroy that internal alarm. They want to destroy that compass so that they can abuse you, abuse your children, gaslight you, confuse you, and manipulate you. Don't give them that ever. It's exactly what grooming is, Generation Y. Exactly. Learn how to scream. Make a scene. Learn how to embarrass yourself. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Don't worry if people are like, oh, wow, that's crazy. God, yes. Learn how to scream. Learn how to make a scene. Learn how to rip open the door of some, shop and start yelling, help me. I need your help. Please help me. Start banging. Learn how to bang on someone's front door and say, I'm so sorry. I need help. Please, I need help. I need a phone. Someone's trying to get me. Grab onto somebody and be like, please, I need your help. It might startle somebody. They might think you're crazy for a minute. It's okay. It's really okay. Do what you have to do. All right. Let's see. I wonder if anybody... Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ. I'm so glad to have the opportunity to blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see. Rachel Queen. I wonder, is he also on YouTube? Oh, here we go. This dude right here. Yeah, so I'd rather be embarrassed any day of the week. I would rather be embarrassed. Oh, this is not the same dude. I guess all of the videos are down. I got a new birth certificate arrived. I'm so happy. Of course you did, sir. Of course. Of course they let you have a new birth certificate. Let's see. So I hope he gets rots in prison and gets raped very often. Good. I think about Rachel all the time because for a while I was watching her Saturday Night Live. Something was always off about the way she claimed to be such a great dad. But how insane does that sound? There was something off about the way that she, Rachel, claimed to be such a great dad, but spent all of her time focusing on her transition whilst choosing to live in NT, I don't know what that is, when their kids were being raised full-time by their mom in SA, wherever that is. Southern Australia, Northern Tasmania. She wasn't paying any child support to the mom. Stop co-signing this garbage. Couldn't talk about the kids despite having their faces tattooed across his chest for all to see. She came across as so self-absorbed, but everyone was encouraging her and calling her stunning and brave. So let's real quick just take a look. So again, this is the guy pled. He had a bunch of child sexual exploitation material. Oh yeah, this is the guy who was like stalking this family. In January 2022, Burton posted a video announcing he had been on hormone replacement therapy for 1 month. And an update on his health. I thought I was supposed to get moody, but I haven't been moody since starting the testosterone blockers. I got just a little bitchy. Just a little bitchy, but then I was straight on the estrogen, Burton explains. I'll still cry. I still cry heaps. I'm still an emotional wreck, but it's a nice emotion. Burton, who is currently being held in a correctional facility for men, has been remanded in custody awaiting for their sentencing submissions in April. I wonder what the update is on that. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. Someone says I was in prison with him. She is in Point Lincoln prison. She pled guilty in trials and awaiting to be sentenced. Oh gosh, really? The first response is, oh gosh, really? Was she allowed to continue her hormone treatment? Because that's the most important thing. Oh gosh, really? Oh, I wonder she's like, because they're probably like wondering for themselves, like, oh, like if I ever got caught for doing the stuff that I do, I hope I can still take my drugs. Jesus Christ. Yeah, get your concealed carry. Yeah. But you also, the thing is, don't just get concealed carry, because my only problem is I worry for some women are not willing or ready to use it. Having a gun is not enough. You need to train with it because that can get taken from you easily. You need to have it fully concealed where he doesn't know. And if you're going to pull for it, you're going to be ready to execute and fire. You don't hesitate. You don't blink. You're not going to just take it out and say, all right, I'm telling you, get back. You're going to pull it and you're ready to fucking discharge your weapon. That's it, period. You're not taking it out to like make a statement, like, you better get back. You wait until it's absolutely time. Like, no, now is the time. You pull, you discharge the weapon, and then you wait for a second to see. Then, if it's, like he's down enough where he's not a threat. If he's still a threat, you fire again. Period. If he's still like reaching for something, if he's still able to get back up and he still seems like he's coming for you. But if it's like his hands are up, he's on the ground, you get out of there, you call for help. You call for help and you're supposed to render aid, but if the guy's trying to attack you, I don't think you have a responsibility at that point. My concern is with women is that they'll pull, like, all right, okay, I'm telling you. And then he's like, bitch, you know what I mean? Like, no. You got to be ready to, like, the second you pull that, you only pull it if you're going to discharge it. You got to practice. You have to train. You got to learn how to use your weapon because it can be used against you. It can be your greatest asset or it can be, your greatest downfall. You've got to train and prepare and you cannot be scared. You have to decide that your life is more important. You have to decide that you have a right to live. You have a right to defend yourself. You have a right to protect your life. And that is a God-given right. Doesn't matter what any court says. Deal with the fallout later. You don't say anything. You don't speak anything. You say nothing to no one. You say, I need a lawyer. I need to speak to a lawyer. I'm fully willing to cooperate. I need to speak to a lawyer. That's it and that's all. You answer no questions. You give over, your information. That's it. What your name is, that's it. Where you live, your number. Other than that, I cannot answer any questions. I need to speak to my lawyer. You can't afford one, they'll appoint you one. You say nothing else. Okay? You don't run. You leave the area if you need to be safe. You call for help. You call for 911. There's a man here, whatever. We need an ambulance. And then you are fully prepared to cooperate under the guidance of your lawyer. You don't ever speak to the police without a lawyer present for not any reason whatsoever. Oh, we're just trying to get your side. No, that's okay. I'd be more than happy to have this conversation with you once I speak to a lawyer. They are, by law, not allowed to continue to ask you questions after that. And any questions they do ask you after that are not admissible in court. Once you say, I would like to speak to a lawyer, I do not wish to answer any more questions until I speak to a lawyer. They are, by law, not allowed to ask you any more questions. And any questions they do ask you and any information they do get out of you, it's not admissible in court. Okay? Decide that your life is more important. It is your God-given right. Deal with the consequences later. Decide that your life is more important. As long as you have breath in your lungs to fight another day and to figure out what comes next, you'll be okay. No, Mama Bear Blue. You don't say no. You don't even say that. Do not say I fired to stop a threat. No, none of that. Say I want to speak to an attorney. There is a man here with suffering from a wound. We need an ambulance, and I need an attorney. You don't say anything. Not even the little extras, not even, he attacked me and I fired I discharged my firearm and I need somebody. No. As soon as the lawyer gets there, they'll help you and whatever. You know what I mean? Don't go on your own and start making your own statements, even if you think that they're totally benign and reasonable and there's no way you could get in trouble with them. Don't make any statements at all. You don't say you did anything. But you also don't say, I didn't do anything. I need a lawyer. Just don't say anything at all, period. People, it is like the hardest thing in the world for people to do for some reason, which is just be quiet. I need to speak to a lawyer. You do have a responsibility to call and get him aid. We have somebody here who needs an ambulance. He appears to be bleeding. That's it. Don't speculate about whatever. That's it. Talk to the lawyer, period. I know, poor UK people. And you can fight those cases, right? This is why it's so important to have like cameras around your house and things like that and wherever. Keep a camera on you. Once the police come, you're allowed to film the police. Record as much as you can. If possible, someone's with you, have one of them recording. Somebody record as much as possible. Okay. Oh my God. What? I was wondering what happened to it. Oh, this is ridiculous. Of course, the first question is, oh, are they allowed to continue hormone treatment? And then the person says, yes, she's still on all of her, Jesus Christ, on all of her meds. They even gave her female underwear and PJs. Lol, she pushed her luck with everything. Ha ha ha. So funny and cute. They just get rewarded. It's all just a game to these men. They're all being rewarded for being absolute, just horrible. Oh my God, what? I was wondering what happened to it. The last time I saw, she was driving a little whatever. Let's see. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All these people are like, oh, I used to follow that. It's like, yeah, what does that say about you guys? You know what I mean? All right, hold on for 1 second. All right, my bad. Okay. Anyway, so another thing is, again, it's like if you do ever decide to get your concealed carry license and buy a gun, all this stuff you can learn from classes, right? So usually, and a lot of gun ranges will offer a variety of different courses that you can take, and they're pretty reasonably priced. So they'll have like legal classes where they'll literally go through all the laws in your state, what you're supposed to, they have classes that literally teach you what I just told you, what exactly you're supposed to do in a situation where you do have to use lethal force or discharge your firearm, even if it isn't lethal, right? What is the protocol? How do you render aid? You know, under what circumstances do you retreat? And under what circumstances do you stay and with the person? You know, what to say on the phone call, what to say when the police arrive, what you should do to protect your rights, and so that you don't end up getting, you know, slapped with charges and things like that, right? So yeah, right. I need to get a drink. Let's see. Thirsty. Let's see one more. This guy. Okay, wait, let's see if this guy has any. Rachel Queen Burton. Of course, there is no like news. There's no mainstream news media. Of course, there's not. Of course, there's not. This is why it is important that we talk about this stuff. I gotta go get a
Rachel
drink.
Queen Burton, the popular trans TikToker who had a knack for conspiracy theories, was recently arrested under charges of child sex abuse. It was revealed that she had been using her pursuit of activism with special focus on picking sizable amounts of children on social media, moreover leveraging on her transgender identity to get closer to the kids. Though at first, many fans of her quirky and humorous videos didn't want to believe it, the truth about her actions soon came out. It turned out that Burton had been using her TikTok account to approach kids and groom them over time. This was all done under the pretext of being an activist for kids, exploiting her transgender identity to gain their trust and get closer to them. When people heard about this, they were shocked. What had once been seen as playful and harmless conspiracy theories now seemed sinister and potentially life-threatening. People began to take a closer look at the influencers and celebrities they follow, wondering whether there were other predators lurking behind seemingly harmless messages. This case proved to be not only a cautionary tale, but also a wake-up call for parents and anyone concerned with the well-being of children online. It showed that no matter how funny and entertaining a social media influencer may seem, they should never be trusted blindly.
All right. Ridiculous. Of course, they're fully accommodated. Ew, look at this guy. Of course, he's fully accommodated. This is him before and after. Oops, I'm like clicking it. This is before and after of this guy. Christ. Of course, he has children. So sad. Course. Oh, these are these vulnerable trans women. So vulnerable. He just needs to be with women. Yeah, look how awful. Christ. How terrifying to have one of these clowns chasing after you. That's actually terrifying. This poor family. All right, so now let's go on to the next lovely lady contestant. Redux, U.S. trans-identifying male inmate who SA'd infants. You know that can kill them, right? And cause internal, rupture and things like that. Jesus Christ. Infants. Deemed sexually violent predator after previously securing release. Just God. Let's see. Joseph. Hold on. Let me get a video on. Joseph M. Smith. Let's see. I guess they don't have any. All right. I know, honey. Hold on. Trans. Jesus Christ. Give me
There
one
is
second. I gotta
no
get one thing.
automatic right for a trans woman convicted of a crime to serve their sentence in a female prison, even if they have a gender recognition certificate. Every case is subject to rigorous individual risk assessment, and as part of that, the safety of other prisoners is paramount.
It's like the people who are like caping for these men. It's so unreal. It is so unreal. It is so unreal. Really quick.
So you're laying the points.
And I'm taking the over.
They got everything.
Except the big man.
There's no role for the big man in the
It's
league
so
anymore.
serious.
For-
There's no like
personally
compromising with this ideology. There is so much on the line. There is so much on the line. This isn't a game. This isn't a joke. There are real women out there whose lives are being destroyed, who are in danger, children who are getting hurt because of this nonsense. There is no compromise. I don't want any compromise. I don't want to deal with anybody who wants to compromise. There is none.
Explain to the women there who are sharing their prison with a double rapist.
After days of heated debate, the Scottish Government has now made it clear. Transgender women with violent pasts will no longer be sent to all-female prisons. In a statement, Justice Secretary Keith Brown said,
"We must not allow any suggestion to take root that trans women pose an inherent threat to women. Predatory men are the risk to women. However, as with any group in society, a small number of trans women will offend and be sent to prison."
Last week, there was a public outcry when a transgender woman convicted of rape before transitioning was sent to a female prison.
Hey Sarah, angry survivor. Good to see you.
She committed the crimes a few years ago while known as a man. She made her decision to transition while awaiting trial in that criminal case. But after an intervention by Nicola Sturgeon, she was moved to a men's jail.
I can confirm to Parliament that this prisoner will not be incarcerated at Cornton Vale women's prison. And I hope that provides assurance to the public presiding officer, not least to the victims in this particular case.
The case feeds
Wait.
into a wider
Joe Spring. Joe Spring says, make sure you call the CDCR and congratulate them on their first baby conceived between prisoners. Who's that? When did that happen? So we can look at it.
discussion in Scotland about gender reforms. Last month, Scotland's Parliament voted to pass a bill that would make it easier for people to change their legally recognised gender.
And the Gender Recognition Reform Scotland Bill is passed.
But the bill was blocked from becoming law by the UK government.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right, let's take a look. U.S. transgender inmate who, Jesus God, RAPED infants deemed sexually violent predator after previously securing release by Genevieve Gluck, January 31st, 2024. A serial child rapist who had previously secured a release from prison after identifying as transgender has finally been deemed a, quote, sexually violent predator under Iowa state law. A judge has determined that Joseph Matthew Smith, who now uses the name Josie Maria Dunham or Josie Smith, they should not be allowed. Like, I feel like you should not be allowed to change your name once you've committed heinous enough crimes. That way that people can keep track of you and know where you are. There should be only like certain situations where you can change your name. And once you've committed this sort of a crime and there are, victims out there who need to keep track of where you are and people who need to know who you are, that way you can just change your name. And then when people look you up, you're not attached to, all of the news and the media around the crimes that you committed, And it's like, uh-oh, careful, guys. My dog, he's real scary right now. He's on a rampage. I know. Should be confined to a secure facility indefinitely, quashing a previous ruling that claims Smith was no longer a sexual risk due to being on feminizing hormones. And we know that has no bearing on anything. They're trying to say that, because he's taking estrogen, that he's no longer a risk. That makes no sense. If that was true, why wouldn't you guys just put, all violent men on feminizing hormones? That's not how that works. Newly elected Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird is behind the push to keep Smith in custody, having recently defeated the nation's longest tenured Attorney General Tom Miller in a November election. And I'll bet you the reason why she won is because she probably took a hard stance against these trans-identifying criminals, right? So, let that be known for anybody who's trying to run for office. We're flipping a lot of seats on this issue. People are tired of it. People are tired of the enabling of these degenerates. Thanks, Limitati. Yeah, PayPal, it won't let me use their service. I don't know why. It's like they haven't officially banned me from it, but they just made it so that nothing works. But my Venmo is at a slightly twisted female, and I have Cash App. You guys, it means so much to me. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Newly elected Iowa attorney. Okay. In 2020, Miller endorsed the move that saw Smith released from custody. Bird then condemned his judgment in the matter, running ads during her campaign, slamming Miller as sympathetic to the sexual predator. Jesus fucking Christ. Let's see. Psychotic. So, Brenna Bird. Tom Miller allowed a dangerous sexual predator to go free. The Iowa Attorney General has the responsibility to keep Iowans safe. Time to elect somebody who will. Watch. Good.
A convicted child molester allowed free by Tom Miller because the man had a sex change. Miller claimed the predator was no longer a threat because he was no longer a man. Miller was wrong. What happened next? More victims, more tragedy. Liberal Tom Miller. After 40 years in office, he's making Iowa less safe.
That's probably why she won. Go woke, go broke. People are tired of it. Yeah, my Venmo is a slightly twisted female. Guys, I so appreciate you guys even asking. Thank you. Thank you. It's been such a shitty week. been such a shitty, demoralizing week, but you guys have made it so much better. I really appreciate you a lot. A petition filed in Buena Vista County District Court requested a civil trial as a sexually violent predator with a high chance of reoffending. Smith's mental abnormality makes him more than likely not to engage in predatory acts constituting sexually violent offenses if not confirmed in a secure facility. Bullshit. Bullshit. We know that these men actually have higher rates of sexual offenses. Let's see if they buried that study. Trans women, male patterns of violence. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I know, my poor dog. And the thing is, she wanted me to put my dog down. On account of her, because she can't follow some directions. No, no, Sierra. I care about Max more than I care about you. Not even close. Okay, yeah, again, so this is a Swedish study. This is such an important thing to remember. Thank God this exists, and I wish we could recreate it. Again, so evidence and data on trans women's offending rates, trans-identifying males. Written evidence submitted by Professor Rosa Friedman, Professor Kathleen Stock. Kathleen Stock did this study? Oh. Well, that's pretty legit. Because, this was an important one. But then why is she playing these games? Or she's playing the fence. She understands how serious this is. I don't get it. The evidence was submitted to the WEC as requested by Professor Rosa Friedman, by Nicola Richards MP. All right, the Swedish study, again, by Cecilia Degenay, Paul Lichtenstein, Marcus Bowman, Anna Johansson, Nicholas Langstrom, Mikael Landum. All right, so long-term follow-up of transsexual persons undergoing sex reassignment surgery, cohort study in Sweden. Let's see, summary of findings. The Swedish cohort study by Degenay et al. 2011 followed a population of individuals who had undergone surgical and legal sex reassignment involving hormonal and surgical treatment between 1973 and 2003. 324 in total, and compared them to a matched control group of their birth sex. It is crucial to emphasize that this study looks only at those who have undergone hormonal and surgical transition, which is a much tighter group than individuals who self-identify as transgender. The primary purpose of the study was to consider whether medical transition helps patients and to inform what support they might need post-transition. It is methodologically robust, peer-reviewed, large-scale comparative source on offending rates comparing trans women and women. It compared the likelihood of a person having one or more criminal convictions and convictions for violent crime, defined as homicide and attempted homicide, aggravated assault and assault, robbery, threatening behavior, harassment, arson, or any sexual offense. The study can be divided into two cohorts, 1973 to 1988, and then again in 1989 to 2003, with the difference being that the latter cohort received adequate mental health provision. The findings show the same birth sex in the first cohort. The findings show that transsexual individuals were more likely to be criminal than non-transsexuals of the same birth sex in the first cohort, and no difference in the second. Wow. So they're not only are they on par with their birth sex in the first cohort, they're actually more likely to be criminal than their birth sex. So they're more dangerous than regular men. And in the second cohort, it just said that there was no difference, that they're the same as regular men. It's crazy. The research state, male to females retained a male pattern regarding criminality. The same was true regarding violent crime. Guys, this is one of the most important studies that we have. Male to female transitioners were over 6 times more likely to be convicted of an offense than female comparators, and 18 more likely to be convicted of a violent offense. So male to female transitioners were over 6 times, that's 600%, more likely to be convicted of an offense than a female comparison control, and 18 times, that's 1,800% more likely to be convicted of a violent offense than women. They are not committing female patterns of violence. These are male patterns of violence, and not only the male patterns of violence, they're even worse than the regular men in the regular population, the general population. Like, what delusion are we under that these men are somehow a special, extra safe category? Anyone who peddles that is lying. Male to female, let's see. The group has no statistically significant differences from other natal males for convictions in general or for violent offending. The group examined were those who committed to surgery and so were more tightly defined than population based solely on self-declaration. So these weren't even just like any guy who is, calls himself trans-identifying. These are men who had actually had surgery and hormones. And so can you imagine what it would be if they actually included men who were just self-identifying? Hold on for 1 second. Here, Maxie. I had to let him out. Let's see. Written evidence by Rosa Friedman, Kathleen Stock. The study provides strong evidence that policymakers cannot safely assume that A, the trans women's offending patterns, including violent offending, will be significantly different than those general male population, or B, that they will be similar to those of the general female population. Hold on for 1 second. All right. Has it been discredited? Some online discussion of the piece describes its findings on offending as discredited. Policy analysts Murray Blackburn and Mackenzie conducted a search of the academic literature and were unable to find any academic rebuttal of these specific findings or any equivalent study which shows the opposite effect to Degenais et al.'s result. The debunking of this study appears to be based solely on brief statements made by lead author in an interview some years ago about how the data had been interpreted. Murray Blackburn provides an analysis of these claims. There's also key data contained in an appendix of that document. Yeah, Jackie Moon says most women in prison are there for drug-related, poverty-driven, or property crimes. Yeah, exactly. Right. Let's see. Author quote, the individual in the image who is making claims about trans criminality, specifically rape likelihood, is misrepresenting the study findings. The findings do not include specific results for any form of sexual assault. Therefore, it is true that claims specifically about rape other than violent crime general cannot be made. Let's see. There was one where they did talk about, hold on. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so again, it's, in absence of any new peer-reviewed publication based on the original data, which provides further results split both over time and by sex, the original published results remain the best available large-scale quantitative comparative study of conviction rates by sex and transition or type. And here we go. Comparisons of official, MOJ, something of justice, not whatever M stands for, something of justice, from March to April 2019, most recent. So 76 sex offenders out of 129 trans-identified males. 58.9% of trans-identified males were sex offenders versus 125 sex offenders out of 3,812 women in prison, which is 3.3%. So for women, natal women, the sex offender rate is 3.3%. For trans-identified males, it's 58.9%. Even for men, on the general population of men who don't identify as trans had a 16.8% sex offender rate in that population. So trans women who are so vulnerable and need all these protections and are, you know, the safest group and they're the most victimized group have the highest rates of sexual offenses. And that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody because we know that fetishes and you know, paraphilias are typically comorbid with many other paraphilias. Hey, Doe Eyes, it's so good to see you too. Bye, Mimi Russ. Let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see. Driving Big Central. Actually dangerous though. All right, so the belief that, okay, so again, this is important to read because it says, page 5, Brick states that Noah, all right, says, this is from the, it's a quote from the study. It says, the converse is that the ever-increasing tide of referrals of patients in prison serving long or indeterminate sentences for various sexual offenses. These vastly outnumber the number of prisoners incarcerated for more ordinary non-sexual offenses. It has been rather naively suggested that nobody would seek to pretend transsexual status in prison if this were not actually the case. There are, to those of us who actually interview the prisoners, in fact, very many reasons why people might pretend to be transsexual. These vary from the opportunity to have trips out of the prison through to a desire for transfer to the female estate, to the same prison as a co-defendant, through the idea that a parole board will perceive somebody who is female as being less dangerous, through to a false belief that hormone treatment will actually render one less dangerous, through to wanting a special or protected status within the prison system, and even in one very well evidenced case that a highly concerned prisoner governor brought particularly to my attention, a plethora of prison intelligence information suggesting that the driving force was a desire to make subsequent sexual offending very much easier, females being generally perceived as low risk in this regard. I'm sure that the governor concerned would be happy to talk about this. There you go. Yeah, Jackie Moon says, and they can get to their exes too. Domestic violence protection goes out the window on side 1,000%. 1,000%. So this is a really important study to just be aware of, and it refutes the nonsensical idea that transitioning or taking on some kind of gender identity makes these men safer in some absurd way. It does not. Okay, let's just finish reading this story really quick. A petition filed. Okay, Smith's mental abnormality makes him more likely than not to engage in predatory acts constituting sexually violent offenses if not confined in a secure facility. Oh, more likely than not. I see. Smith should be committed to the custody of the Department of Human Services to be held in a secure facility for control, care, and treatment until such time as his mental abnormality has changed so that he is safe to be at large in the community. How about he's just never safe? In December 2015, honestly, if you've RAPED, an infant, you should never be in civilized society ever again. You don't belong in society ever again, period. Never, never. You never get that chance again. You blew it. That's it. In December 2015, let's see. Smith was convicted in Buena Vista County as of lascivious acts with a child. At the time, Assistant Attorney General Andrew Schoenhoven determined that Smith suffers from at least one mental abnormality, specifically the mental abnormality of a pedophilic disorder. Oh, Exelanzic would love love like these guys. They would love Exelanzic. Yeah, because he's like they're disabled and they can't help but to to essay infants. We got to have some reasonable accommodations. Kids are disabled, can't help it. There's no control. Come on. At least one mental abnormality which predisposes Smith to quote commit sexually violent offenses to a degree constituting a menace to the health and safety of others. He should never get out of prison then, ever. Yeah, they're not exactly. Yeah, Generation Y says, quote, suffers from. These guys are not suffering, they're getting off 1,000%. 1,000%. Scott Bridge says, yes, I agree with you. People who essay an infant need to be kept away from society for good, period. Miss Misery Gloom says pimps also use this tactic. They keep an eye on their women and recruit new ones on the inside. Yep. Angry Feral Survivor says Massachusetts girls team forfeited their game at halftime with coach backing them up because they said they got injured the whole game. Guy was over 6 foot with a beard. It's so not safe. Someone's going to get hurt. It's insane. Wait, Doe Eyes, it's a slightly twisted XX. So for Cash App, it's a slightly twisted XX. But you have to put the money sign. It's money sign, a slightly twisted, and then XX. Thank you, guys. Venmo, it's a slightly twisted. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Illuminati. I really appreciate you helping. Thank you. Davis, there's also links in my channel bio. Yeah, girls have been hurt, I'm sure. Jesus Christ. Susie Glucksman says reasonable accommodations as a wood chipper. Here. Davis recommended that Smith be confined to the Cherokee Civil Commitment Unit for sex offenders for an indefinite period based on what he determined to be a high likelihood of sexual reoffending. The report noted that Smith had told a state forensic psychologist that he had molested as many as 15 children under the age of 13. The youngest being a 1-year-old baby. God fucking, how is he getting access to this many kids, though? But my God, he added that he believes Smith was more likely to commit a sexual assault than 92% of male sex offenders. Yeah, but we got to sit there and pretend like this is a woman, right? This is a woman. There's not been even one recorded case of a female patient having been committed to the CCUSO in the unit's 25-year history because women do not commit the same type of offenses that men do. There are male patterns of criminality and there are female patterns of criminality. And there really is like no comparison. And it makes it seem like women are doing a lot of stuff too. Because again, the reason women, it's so rare that we get women who are like murderous like this and who really commit these serious crimes. That's why every time it happens, it goes right into the media circuit. Legacy media is picking it up. Everyone's talking about it. It's on all the true crime podcasts and shows. Because it's so interesting to hear of a woman who really goes that direction. Men do it all the time. Half the time it doesn't even make it into the newspaper and the little sidebar. It happens every day. They kind of will be, sometimes you'll see it like the bottom ticker, of the news. But it's all day, every day. Come to Philadelphia and find out how all day, every day it really is with these men. There are male patterns of criminality, female patterns of criminality. There is no comparison. Again, there's not even been one recorded case of a female patient having been committed to the sex offender unit in the unit's 25-year history, reports the Cherokee Chronicle Times. But there have been at least 3 trans-identifying males in civil commitment unit. Oh, and they always talk about, why are you guys so obsessed? Trans, people are only 1%. Only 1% of the population. And imagine trans-identifying males are even less than that because there are far more trans-identifying females than there are trans-identifying males. So why we don't see trans-identifying females committing crimes like this? Why is it only the men who are the problem? We know why. There are far more trans-identifying females than there are trans-identifying males, yet all of the stories that we have are chock full of trans-identifying males. So they're what, like 3% of the population or something like that. If they're less than 0.5% of the, because again, the total population of trans-identifying people is 1%. So for trans-identifying males, since it's less than women, it's probably like 0.3%, right? So 0.3% of the population, and there's 3 of them in the sex offender unit. That's a huge overrepresentation for how, like marginally tiny their proportionate population is. Why are we not seeing trans identifying female? And if it's just a case of like, estrogen and testosterone, even though we do see increased levels of criminality against women who are taking exogenous testosterone, it's still not on the same level. Still not on the same level. These men are more dangerous than regular men, not less. And certainly nowhere near, at the level, it doesn't even compare. Women can't even compare to the level of these men. There is no comparison between these men and actual women. So to list these as women and these as female crimes, these are not our crimes. They're not women's crimes. Smith made international headlines in 2020 after being released from prison just 4 years into an indefinite prison sentence. After essaying 15 different children, the youngest being 1 year old, 15 different children under the age of 13, the youngest being 1 year old, just 4 years, no big deal. He had been convicted of sexually assaulting an 11-year-old resident of Midwest Christian Services, a treatment facility for juveniles, following another conviction for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old when he was a teenager. Despite his record of sexual offending, on January 9th, 2020, Iowa Attorney General's office filed a motion to dismiss a petition requesting that the serial pedophile be considered a sexually violent predator. Why? Why? Because it's bad press. It's bad. This, if anything shows you that there's really money driving behind this, it's this. What incentive does the government, do these local judiciary bodies, these local, legislators, the governor, these people who are in charge, what motivation, what incentive do they have to sweep all of this under the rug if it's not money? If there is not a lot of money going on behind the scenes, because of all of this stuff is so shady. Oh no, we want a petition. Why are they going to bat for these guys? Why are they going so hard to protect their reputation and to uphold the idea that these are critically vulnerable men who, they need their transition services in prison? It's so important. It's so serious. They're facing so many, so much, bigotry and difficulty being twins, the twins women, why the twins? We don't know that, Kayla Carpenter. It's because it has to do with exposure to testosterone in utero in early childhood. It's one of the reasons why brain patterns remain significantly the same as the natal sex. Oh, yeah, exactly. Of course, because these are men. It's not that they remain the same as natal sex. It's because they are men. There's no we're just comparing men to men. Let's see the differences. No, it's all the same. It's just this is a sexual strategy. It's just certain men who took on a certain sexual strategy, because they don't know how to compete otherwise. A really deviant sexual strategy. Officials claim that Smith was at a lower risk of reoffending due to altered testosterone. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. And that's why the whole idea that, puberty blockers will make all the difference. No, they've already been so testosterone exposed by the time they are even born. Poor predators. Oh. Smith has been receiving hormones related to his self-declared gender identity while being held at Newton Correctional Facility. Why? There's so, God, I can't wait for all the lid to get blown off this. We've got to keep trying to figure out where the money is coming from. Serial pedophile is back behind bars after being released following a gender transition officials claimed would reduce the likelihood of recidivism. Again, and if they had even paid attention to, the best study that we have would tell you that makes no difference. None. 2015, Josie Smith confessed to having sexually abused 15 children, including a baby. Jesus Christ. Hicks also claimed that an expert had determined that Smith was not at risk of reoffending due to his gender identity. An Iowa District Court judge therefore granted the motion to dismiss in the interests of justice. In the interests of justice. That's just even that, like, that language, in the interests of justice. It's unreal. Don't forget to like the stream, guys, while you guys are all here. Please like the stream. It really helps. Just hit that thumbs up, please, and thank you. Helps the channel a lot. Don't forget to like. Really, really quick. Do it now. Do it now. Thank you. Let's see. In January 2022, Christine Lewis, administrative law judge for Iowa Correctional Services, sentenced Smith to 2 more years in prison as he again violated the terms of his parole. During an inspection in January, Smith's parole officer discovered child pornography, Jesus Christ, on his phone, which depicted boys and girls aged between 5 and 8 years old. Smith requested leniency, was ultimately denied. That was it, though? That's all? That's all? There's Genevieve. Genevieve Gluck. Genevieve is the co-founder of Redux and the outlet's chief investigative journalist with focused interest in pornography, sexual predators, and fetish subcultures. She is a creator of a podcast, Women's Voices, which features news, commentary, and interviews regarding women's rights. We love you, Genevieve. Genevieve unfollowed me on Twitter, and I'm sad, and I don't know why. But it's okay. We still love her. Okay, last one. Yeah, Genevieve is the best. All right. Let's see. Transgender Muslim inmate serving 55. I don't want to harass her. You know, I'm sure whatever reason she has, it's her own reason. Transgender Muslim inmate serving 55-year sentence for killing a baby launches discrimination lawsuit after being denied a hijab. This one is by Anna Slatz, February 14th, 2024. A trans-identifying male currently serving a 50... Like, come on, guys. What the fuck is going on? What in the hell is going on? I feel like it has to do with, like, all the, like, drama that was just going on. So hopefully I'll just win her back at some point. Generation Y said, I had the honor of meeting Genevieve in 2022. She's such a kind, genuine person. I bet. I love her. It's all good. Like, what is this thing? God damn it. This is another reason too to, like, we should all just, like, raise our standards of, like, how we bring children into the world. I can just about guarantee you that this man was not, you know, conceived to 2 parents who were fully committed to each other and who had worked hard to build a nest and who, you know, parented him with, like, love and thoughtfulness and consciousness. And it's just kind of like when we're just out here fucking, you know, it's just like, it's the sexual revolution. We're all getting, you know, people are just getting knocked up. Oh, oops, I'm preggo. Having the baby, you don't want it anyway, it's just getting tossed around. It's like, let's raise the fucking collective bar. Let's treat human life as so precious. Treat children as so precious. Mothers as so precious. These men like, oh God, yeah, I want this bitch to get a, you know, abortion. Ew, I can't believe, like, she says she's pregnant. That's so sad. It's like, can we just... God, it's so sad. We're in such bad shape as a society. We really are. It's sad. Starting to get a headache. Let's just get through this. Yeah, I think, like, just the most important thing is just having, like, a stable relationship and having, like, stable enough finances and all that sort of stuff, and, like, an education and just, like, emotional stability. All right, transgender Muslim inmate. Okay, all right. So trans-identifying male currently serving a 55-year... Hold on for a second. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, Lord. A 55-year sentence for the murder of his infant stepdaughter. Oh God. Oh, that's so sad. Has launched a lawsuit against a chaplain at his prison after he was allegedly denied a hijab despite identifying as a Muslim woman. Come on, bro. Autumn Corleone, previously known as Jonathan C. Richardson, is seeking $150,000 in damages. Oh, and I wonder if that money will go back and restitution for the people that he harmed. No, it's gonna go towards like him and his makeup. As previously reported by Redux, Corleone was the first arrested in 2001 after his 11-month-old stepdaughter died in his care while her mother was at work. Oh, God. Can you imagine? Oh, God. Can you even imagine? Can you imagine how sick you would feel getting that phone call? Oh, my fucking God. The night of his infant's death, Corleone had been visited by friends who later told police that he had been, quote, acting strangely. Despite claiming the little girl was inside sleeping, Corleone had loud music playing in his home, and his guests noticed that he appeared to have a fresh bleeding tattoo of the child's name carved into his arm. Jesus fucking Christ. I know, woman, I know. We really do. We need to support this is like the whole idea of shaming women who want to be stay-at-home mothers. Don't you understand how critical stay-at-home moms are? How much suffering can be prevented? Children can just have children are little for such a short time. To just have a few years to be, in the nest with their mother. How much that could change so much for the mental health crisis in society, rather than dumping 6-week-old neonates into daycare centers with strangers who don't care about them. Protect mothers, my fucking God. Like, it'll pay off in every possible fucking way. It's like the greatest investment we can make in society is to protect the mother baby and allow them to nurture each other and to be there and to fucking flourish. For fuck's sake, it's like we want women to rush back and have these high-powered jobs and, you gotta, make ends, you gotta go work and go. We don't fucking God. I hate it. Men are so useless. Everybody's anyway. Later that night, after his friends left, Corleone went to his neighbor and asked him to call 911, claiming the child was unresponsive. When emergency personnel arrived, they were briefly able to resuscitate the girl, but she died shortly after being rushed to the hospital. So I'm sure she laid there suffering, having agonal breaths, probably scared to death, while he's like just too cowardly to get help. Sounds like I'm sure she probably, if they'd gotten to her sooner, could have maybe had a chance. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh God, just having lost my nephew when he was 3 from a drowning accident, who I loved like he was my own baby. I can't. I really can't. I can't imagine. It's so horrifying. It's so sickening. It's so scary. Corleone was interviewed by police who noted he was calm and unemotional during questioning, and his story, I know, support for grieving mothers. I know, absolutely. About what happened to the baby changed dramatically over the course of the 2 interviews conducted. At first, Corleone claimed he found the baby unresponsive after doing some household chores. But in the next episode, Corleone said the child was being fussier than usual, and he attempted to throw her up in the air repeatedly in an effort to calm her down. Listen, anybody who is dealing with a child who will not calm down, okay? Put the baby in a room, a safe room, okay? Close the door, walk away. Walk away for a little bit. I'm not saying leave the house or go out on some bender. It is okay to step away for a minute. If it's to the point where the noise and the crying is just too much for you and you can't take it, kids are not going to die from crying. Okay, it's okay. Take a minute, walk away for a little bit. I've told this to moms before. I said, even if your baby's crying and you are so overwhelmed and you almost get like a feeling where you might hurt them, like you're getting that overwhelmed, put them safely in their crib, go to another part of the house, take a shower, put on headphones. You can drown it out for a little bit. You've done whatever you can do or whatever, or you just feel like you're getting to the point where you're getting so stressed out that you might snap. It is far preferable to let that baby cry for a little bit until you can be safe again, right? Or call somebody who can come and step in and help you. Say, I need help. I can't do this right now. I just can't. I can't. You know, letting the baby, even if they're hysterical, even if they seem like, oh, they're freaking out. You know, babies get like that. And if you really feel like you can't handle it safely, it is better to just let the baby cry and go get away from it for a second. And it's another reason why it's so sick and unsafe that we have mothers home alone with babies. That's not normal. It's not normal. It's not normal for women to just have nobody alone in a house and they're trying to do everything at once. It's not normal. While you know, there's a husband who's off working somewhere. We're supposed to have layers of community and support and women around us. We don't have it anymore. Normally, if this were normal, if human society was not all fucked, you know, you would have other women who could step in and take the baby for you while you go lay down or take a walk or just fucking clear your mind and take a deep breath. In the absence of that, it's okay. Let the baby cry in their crib for a little bit. As long as you know that the baby's safe, there's nothing in the room that the baby could get hurt in. If they can't get out of their crib, even if they're hysterical, go take a shower. Go outside, sit and breathe for a minute. Okay? It's okay. Come back when you're okay. You know, that's preferable to just snapping and flipping out. And that can happen. And it's fuck. It's like, and we put so many unreasonable expectations on mothers. Like this scumbag Sierra calling CPS on me. You fucking piece of shit. You piece of dog shit. You could never do what I do. You could never do what I do every day of my fucking life, you insane asshole. You can never touch me, fucking step to me, come anywhere near me as a mother. Ever. Fuck you talking about. You could never do what I've done. You could never escape an abusive husband and restart my life and build a home that is safe, that is nurturing, that is engaging. Keep my kids fully invested in their community and extracurriculars, juggle the shit that I'm going through, shield my kids from it at the same time. While I'm going through stress, you could never fucking do what I do. You could never do what I do. You could never fucking step to me as a mother. Ever in your fucking loser, neat, pathetic life. You're barely functioning. You were 36 years old. You were 36 years old. You can't even clean up after yourself. You could never do what I do. Phenomenal hearing from a woman like you about what sort of mother I should be. It is phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. You can never do what I do. Okay. I had little babies strapped to me while I'm breastfeeding another baby, while I'm mentoring a mother who is addicted to drugs, who needs to get help and on a methadone clinic because she's pregnant. And I'm taking care of her while I take care of my kids. You could never do what I do. Fuck out of here. I was 23 weeks pregnant in the Philippines, taking care after impoverished mother, after impoverished mother, after impoverished mother. Walking to the market, like 2 miles to the market. 20 weeks pregnant while I had a 3-year-old with me. No, I'm sorry, 2.5-year-old with me. You can never do what I do. You can never fucking do what I do, Sierra Weir. calling CPS on me. I would love to see you fucking walk a minute in my shoes. I would love to see you walk 5 seconds in my shoes and do even a fraction of the job that I do. You could never. You don't have the spine. You don't have the heart. You don't have the courage. You don't have the intelligence. You don't have the fucking spirit to do what I do. You can never fucking step to me. Fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, she's older than me. She's older than me. Fucking Christ. Anyway. During failed attempts at the oh, for fuck's sake. The excuses are always horrific. At first, Corleone claimed he found the baby unresponsive during some household chores. But in the next interview, Corleone said that the child was being fussier than usual, and he attempted to throw her up in the air repeatedly in an effort to calm her down. Oh, God. This is also why it's so important to have like layers of friends and neighbors and family. And this is why I've always tried to create that. You know, I tried to make sure that women knew that, like, do you know how many times I designated my house as like a drop-off spot? You know how many I've had moms come and drop their babies off when there was like some other emergency going on, and they were like, can you just take them for a little bit? I'm like, I got you. You know? Do you know how critical of a resource? If you can be that for a mother, do you know how critical of a resource that is? If you can make it clear that, hey, listen, just so you know, like, my house is safe, and, you know, I'm always here, and like, you can literally drop your kid off, like, really no questions asked. I don't care what time it is, and just have something, have a pack and play. Go on Facebook Marketplace. You can get a little pack and play, a fold up crib for like $40, a little used, you know, fold up crib for $40. You know, keep a couple of like kids' blankets or whatever, a few little supplies, keep it in a fucking closet, and just let people know, listen, like, here's my schedule, you know, middle of the night, if there's like an emergency, you have to take your other, like, for example, I had a situation where my son was having a severe asthma attack, and I had to take him in, my oldest son, both my kids have had severe asthma attacks where I had to drop everything and go. That's another reason I don't drink, right? So it's like, saying that like I get intoxicated. That's another reason I don't drink. You know why? You want to know why I don't drink? You want to know why I don't get fucked up? You know why I don't, like, you know, whatever. Especially when I my kids home or near or around me. Because I've had situations where in the middle of the night I had to drop everything and I had to race to the emergency room because my son couldn't breathe. You know, I've had situations where my daughter was choking on a piece of cheese and I had to react quickly because her dad was like, oh, I don't know. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? I'm like, bro, react. You got to do something. You know, and I'm really grateful that, like, for some reason, I'm really good at kind of like operating under pressure. And I think that like being a midwife really helped me with that. You know, not panicking, looking at what's happening and making the next like move. You know, being effective. I cannot afford to be inebriated or to be intoxicated because I need to be able to jump in the car at any point of the day, at any time, for any reason. I take that seriously. I take that very seriously. So I know I'm not driving drunk, you scumbag bitch. God, it's like I'd spit. It makes me really like want to spit on you. You can never be what I am. And that's why it kills you. You can never, ever, ever step to me. Or the woman that I am. Or the mother that I am. What the fuck are you talking about? But also, again, you know, whether you're a mom, whether your children are older, whether you don't have, especially if you don't have children, if you are amenable to this, you know, let the mothers in your neighborhood know, be like, listen, if you're ever in an emergency, just know that this is like a safe place. You can drop them off here. It's okay. You know what I mean? And it's like, let's spend time together. You know what I mean? But have it be mutual. And also, and if you're a mom and people reach out to you, use that resource and give back to it, right? It's like you got to replenish the source from which you take. You know, if a mom does something for you and takes your child for you or helps you out, make sure to repay that. Make sure to replenish that source, whatever the case may be, you know, or some, it has to be, we have to take care of each other, right? You know, when you're able to do it, then you do it, you know. And that's why I always saw it as an investment to like take care of the women around me, because I knew that there might be a time I've had women take care of me when I needed it. Watch my kids when I needed it. Bring their kids over and watch my kids so I could go do what I had to do when I needed it. You know, I knew how like life-saving that could be for me. Community is life-saving when you're a mother. You know, get stuck with these psychopath fucking boyfriends and shit. Yeah, I know. Anti-Semitism, yeah, probably. Or then I'm like, yeah, like, yeah, yeah. All right, Corleone. All right, well, let's just finish through this. At first, Corleone claimed he found the baby unresponsive after doing some household chores, but in the next interview, Corleone said the child was being fussier than usual, and he attempted to throw her up in the air repeatedly in an effort to calm her down. He said her head bopped forward and back in a rough type of manner. Oh my fucking God. He probably did shake her. That can like basically internally decapitate a child. It's so sad. And that the child continued to cry as he proceeded to shake her aggressively in an effort to calm her down. Oh, shaken baby syndrome is so horrible. God. It's so horrible. It's basically like it's like internal decapitation. It's so horrible. It ruins children's lives, and it obviously can kill them too. And if it doesn't kill them, it leaves them, you know, permanently handicapped. Please don't shake your babies. You can leave them. Let them cry. Let them cry. Walk away. Take some time. Walk away. It's okay. You can walk away. If you're feeling that overwhelmed, you can walk away. You can even step outside. I promise you. You know, like just close the door. You know, whatever. That's another good reason to keep cameras up, so you can have a camera and check on your phone and just be watching the baby if you need to. Turn the sound down. Keep an eye on what's going on, but give it a minute. It's really okay. That's better than just freaking out. During a failed appeals hearing, detectives from the case recounted how Corleone had physically showed how he had manhandled the girl, getting up out of his chair and demonstrating the action in a rough manner. Oh, God. It's just so hard to listen to, like, children getting hurt. It's so hard. An autopsy subsequently found that the baby had died of asphyxiation by manual strangulation. He probably couldn't handle the crying. God. Corleone was booked awaiting a court hearing and would later tell a prison official, "All I know is I killed the little fucking bitch." No. They hate us. They hate our children. They hate us. And this is so apparently a woman. They hate us. They hate our babies. These are the worst. These are the worst men in society. These are the most dangerous men in society. Not the least. My fucking God, they hate us. And they hate our babies. And we've got to fight this. My God, we've got to fight this. Corleone was found guilty and sentenced to 55 years in prison for the horrific crime. He is currently incarcerated to the Branchville Correctional Facility Institution for Male Offenders. Angry Feral Survivor says it's a betrayal to have CPS call for reasons of revenge and over petty revenge. No. I will never forget. Sierra, I hope you're watching. I hope someone sends this to you. I will never forget what you did. You are so dead to me. You are worse than the piece of shit under my shoe. You are so dead to me. I don't want to hear about you. I don't care about you. You are like, I look at you with such disgust now. I look at you with such disgust. You don't exist to me anymore. There's really something wrong with you. How evil can you be? How evil can you be? Letting you meet my children, you scumbag. Corleone was found guilty and sentenced to 55 years in prison for the horrific crime. He is currently incarcerated at the Branchville Correctional Facility. This is Branchville chaplain Tony Gray. Late August, Corleone joined forces with the American Civil Liberties Union, there you go, the ACLU, to sue Indiana Department of Corrections, citing discrimination on the basis of his gender identity. That case is currently, ACLU is really turned out to be some real scumbags. Is really turned out to be some real scumbags. This is what you're putting money and effort into. Who are you? I used to donate to them. This is what Jen said, that the ACLU really needs to be our top priority. So we might start organizing against ACLU again. We already did the ACLU protest in Washington, D.C., and, it's time. But Redux has now learned that Corleone has also launched a separate suit against the prison's chaplain, Tony Gray. Gray has been a chaplain at the facility since 2014 and volunteered at the institution prior to being offered an official role. In the lawsuit filed on November 3rd, 2023, Corleone accuses Gray of violating his First, 8th, and 14th Amendment constitutional rights. This is why we need there to be legal definitions of a woman, which is an adult human female, and there should be no compromise. According to court records obtained by Redux, the incident of complaint took place May 2023 after Gray informed Corleone that he was not allowed to don a hijab outside of his cell. In response, Corleone said, "I wear the hijab in order to cover my head and ears for modesty purposes. I am an Islamic practicing trans woman." Oh, for fuck's sake. What an abomination. At the time, Corleone's registered religion was Wiccan, of course. And Gray pointed that out, to which Corleone replied he was an eclectic practitioner who was a member of the Theosophical Society in America. These little con artists, scam artists, whatever they can get away with, it's so ridiculous. All right, guys, I'm getting really tired. I gotta go, chill for a little bit. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. He continues, without the support of the Islamic community, I will struggle and likely fail to achieve salvation by Muhammad's teachings. A Muslim who knows the teachings yet strays from them will never reach heaven. Oh, for fuck's sake. We must protect our language at all costs. This is why it is not polite to use she, her. You're hurting women and children by using she, her for any man. For any male. You're hurting women and children, and it has to stop. I love you guys. Thank you again for all the support. Please like the stream if you haven't already. I love you guys. Really thank you for the support the last few days. It really has meant a lot to me. It's just, I'm still floored at all this. I just need to go chill for the weekend. Like I said, for those who have been sending me support for Venmo, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you. You guys are amazing. You've really helped me, just thank you. Really, it goes a long way. So Venmo at a slightly twisted female, or it's at a slightly twisted female at gmail.com. And then on Cash App, it's money sign a slightly twisted XX. And then, contact me if you need me. I love you guys. I'm going to be off Twitter for a while. I just need a break. You can email me at a slightly twisted female at gmail.com. Don't forget to like the stream. I love you guys. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything. I will catch you guys in the next one.